Well, I am so excited. This is Kathleen Gage, and that's one reason I'm excited because this is Kathleen Gage, and it means I'm alive. I woke up today, had a great run, and 3, 2, 1, on the air. And we were going to go live, but for some reason, there's something going on between Zoom and Facebook. I think they had an argument or something because they are not meeting each other. But I am here with my good buddy and my business associate and the brains behind weDIDit.health. That's weDIDit.health. And weDIDitSummit, which is a certification for plant-based ambassadors. And we're going to talk about that today. And I want to introduce you to Peter Goldstein. Peter?
Well, hello, Kathleen. Thank you so very much for being here. And I am really happy and proud to say that there is no disconnect between you and me and between our team. We have an amazing team. We've got an amazing event coming up and so many wonderful people. I mean, we're bringing together so many amazing people in the collaborative effort, and I know we're going to have an impact on all the plant-based, vegan, and climate healing communities. So thank you, Kathleen.
My absolute pleasure. And what we're going to talk about today, it's a little bit different than what you and I have been talking about on other live streams. We've been on, I can't even count how many in the last couple of weeks. I mean, it's just been one after the other, and we've reached a global market. And what we're going to talk about is visibility through certification. So we have an event coming up on the 23rd of June. And to find out about the event, I would recommend people go to weDIDitSummit.com. That's weDIDitSummit.com. And I'll put it in the show notes so that you can see where to go. But it's a certification for people who are committed lifestylists to do with plant-based eating and to do with being vegan. And the combination of the two, being a vegan who is a plant-based eater, means that you are being really healthy in the way you approach life, and you can do more good in the world because you're healthy and you have the energy. And so today we're going to talk about why certification can actually help you with your visibility, because we have a lot of people, we have moms who are wanting to influence their children and inspire their children and their spouses to go plant-based and eat healthier. We have teachers who want to be able to impact the school systems. We have politicians. We have entrepreneurs. And the focus today is really going to be about those people who want to use a certification to get visibility, because as you know, I'm all about visibility. My company is Vegan Visibility. What a concept. And so I really would like to find out from your perspective, Peter, why is it that a certification would help somebody to gain visibility, whether they be an entrepreneur, a speaker, coach, author?
Absolutely. Or a consumer, and our focus is very much also on the consumers as well as the professionals. But from the consumer perspective, visibility. So visibility with our friends and loved ones, and really all our work has come from the perspective of we are so frustrated that people we care about aren't seeing us for who we are. So being able to step into it as a consumer, be able to step into being an ambassador, which also means a content curator, to be able to help people we care about find the information that will serve them in changing lifestyle. And most certainly then being able to get recognition, for professionals to be able to get recognition as an ambassador is really important. And Kathleen, as vegan visibility and as the magnificent marketer you are, I know you put together some really great strategies for people to get recognized for being ambassadors, people both on the grassroots level and the professional level. So our work is really focused on both groups, both the grassroots level, which is the consumers, as well as the professionals who are looking to build a thriving practice.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because I've had people say, well, I've been certified through eCornell University, so how will your certification be different? And I've been certified through eCornell University. I actually, many years ago, got certified as an NLP practitioner, neurolinguistics, and that actually helped me in my professional life because I was able to let my clients know, I was able to let my professional community know, and it impressed my family. I mean, they were like, wow, you got certified in that? Yes, I did. And it's the same with our certification. eCornell focuses more on if you want to learn how to eat plant-based. What our certification actually does is it works with you on communication skills so that you can actually inspire loved ones, community members, work associates to actually explore the possibility of a plant-based vegan lifestyle. And one of the things we've talked about on many occasions, Peter, is the fact that it gives people hope, that people actually are hopeful that they can live a healthier life through the work that we do as grassroots ambassadors. So why don't you address that, if you would?
Well, yes, everything is about hope. And having hope to be able to experience a better life is really at the center of it. And it's, it comes back to our frustration because we have hope for somebody else. We have hope for people we care about. We know that they don't have to have the bypass surgeries. They don't have to be obese. They don't have to be diabetic. We know that the animals that are suffering don't have to be suffering. And we have hope for all that. We have hope that people we care about will get healthy, that will save the animal lives, that will reverse climate change and do participate in climate healing. So we have a lot of hope. We are positive. We are very hopeful. And yet probably a lot of people we see who have given up. So somebody who's not healthy, somebody who doesn't take care of the animals and the environment, they have no hope for themselves and for the animals. And so to get somebody to a place where they've given up. So somebody, if it's a medical situation, they've surrendered to the medications they have to be on. They surrendered that if they're diabetic at some point they may go blind or have their foot amputated or whatever tragic things. They have no hope for anything better. So hope is the key thing here. And that's our role. So as ambassadors, as grassroots ambassadors especially, we're not looking to train anybody to be a wellness practitioner or a wellness coach or anything like that. The content, the best practices for procedures, whatever, all that stuff is not our wheelhouse. What we're looking to do is to help the consumers, the grassroots ambassadors, and this overflows to the professional ambassadors also, but to be able to have that opportunity to show somebody that there is hope. So if we can inspire hope and curiosity, so that's the main thing we're after. We're after helping our grassroots ambassadors and professional ambassadors be much more efficient and effective at inspiring hope and curiosity. So the two of them, some more hope, and then get somebody curious, get somebody to say, well, you know what, maybe there is an alternative to the suffering. And now I have hope that I can find those alternatives. I can look at all the amazing resources that are available through all the professionals that are part of this movement. And so hope and curiosity are the two things that we're looking to inspire.
Well, and you actually reminded me of a story I shared with you about a friend of mine that I've known, Roger, for 35 years. And we've been really close friends for many, many years. And yet our health went in different directions. As he was getting more and more unhealthy, I was getting more and more healthy. And he's probably in his early 70s, 72, 73. I consider that early because I'm not too far away from that. And he continued to eat animal-based products and dairy products and Coca-Cola all day long. I mean, he always had a Coke in his hand. And as I was moving further and further into being a whole food, plant-based vegan eater and lifestylist, we would share stories and he'd go, well, that's good for you, but I like my Coke, I like my meat, I like my this, my that. And he started getting heavier and heavier and sicker and sicker. And recently we had a conversation and I realized I can't push my lifestyle on him because he just doesn't want to hear it. But recently I was actually out I had taken a run for a half hour and I was doing 15 minutes of walking. And he and I were having a conversation while I was walking. And he said, they're ready to amputate one of my feet and I'm going blind. And he said, I was supposed to have surgery today, but they had to cancel the surgery. And I said, that might be a blessing because, there are things that you can do. And I shared the story about Mayor Eric Adams. And he said, I'm ready. He goes, I'm so sick and tired of being sick and tired. He goes, I'm ready. What do I need to do? And I said, are you serious? Because oftentimes people will say they're ready and you really have to find out, are they in enough pain to make that change? And he said, I am so ready. He goes, can you coach me? And I'm not a nutritionist coach. I was doing it friend to friend. And I said, I'm willing to do anything to help you get healthier if you're willing to do the work. And he said he was. And I talked to him probably a couple of weeks after that. I had sent him some books, Eat to Live by Dr. Joel Fuhrman and Cooking on a Budget. And he said, I don't know how to cook. I said, let me send you a real simple cookbook. And he actually had hope. And it was like, oh my gosh, his voice was different. I mean, he actually was uplifted. And that's what being an ambassador is doing for people, is that we are able to influence people in ways we don't even know. When we go to the grocery store and people look in our cart and they see all these fruits and vegetables and beans and legumes, and they ask a question, it's like, well, do you actually eat like that? I've had people say that. They say, do you eat all of that? And I said, probably in a few days I'll eat all of that. And it's just like filled with all this color. And so that, the opportunity to be an ambassador happens all over the place. But today, really what I want to focus on is, how will being an ambassador be good for visibility for somebody, whether it's a mother who is part of the PTA and she really wants to have influence, whether it's a doctor, how will that certification give them more confidence? Why don't you talk about what the certification actually is, what they're going to experience at the event? And I want to remind people that you're listening to Kathleen Gage, that would be me, and Peter Goldstein, that would be him. And go to weDIDitSummit.com. That's weDIDitSummit.com. And the full certification is only $47. We priced it in a way that virtually anybody can enroll to get certified. And so, Peter, what will people actually experience through the certification? What, the speakers, the workshop that we're doing, if you could share that.
Well, thank you for that. I certainly would love to share that. So let me start with the concept of being an ambassador and a certified ambassador and our work and what we believe we need to do to be as effective as possible as ambassadors. There's three pillars to it, and our work is to engage the three pillars. And so, first pillar is about communication skills, interpersonal communication, understanding something a little bit about the fact that psychology enters into it, communication skills, leadership. So pillar one is all about being able to show up, be a good listener, be able to identify what it is that somebody would hear, when it is that best time to plant seeds. And I think that for us to recognize that all we really need to do here is plant seeds. We don't need to push anybody to make any decisions or change their lifestyle. But if we can get comfortable with planting seeds, looking to see for the opportunities, like you did, Kathleen, with your friend who was diabetic, I expect if he changed his lifestyle, he may not be diabetic anymore. Because we've seen so many cases where somebody who's diabetic will no longer be diabetic, or at least well on their way to being healthy within a matter of weeks. Actually, you mentioned Mayor Adams of New York City. He was actually blind from diabetes, and he gained his eyesight back in 3 weeks. I mean, how much hope does that give somebody who's diabetic to be able to find something so powerful? So pillar one is about finding the points that somebody would hear us, finding the cracks that we can get through to them and have them hear us, looking for those opportunities and planting the seeds. So getting good at doing that kind of those kinds of things is pillar number one. Pillar number two is about content curation. So to be able to be well aware of what we can offer somebody in terms of content from all three communities. So we identified three communities, being the vegan community for animal justice, the whole food plant-based community for human health, and the climate healer community for the environment. So with our event, we're going to have a panel representing each of those three communities. We have a medical doctor. The event is going to be broadcast from Cleveland, Ohio. We have a local doctor, Dr. Matthew Badgett, who practices medicine here in Cleveland. We have Linda Middlesworth coming in from California, from Sacramento. She's a leader in the vegan community for many decades in California. And of course, Dr. Salish Rao, who's the leader of Climate Healers, and he's world famous. He's spoken in front of the United Nations Climate Change Committee, and he's very well renowned from the place of climate healing. And of course, for all three, the solution is a plant-based lifestyle. So we have the panel. We have two psychologists speaking to address our first pillar, and then we're creating community where anybody who's attending the summit, and you can find it at weDIDitSummits.com. Anybody attending the summit will then be invited to be part of our premium community. So in our community, we're building that to support each other, to define better strategies, best strategies. So we'll have opportunities for mastermind meetings, for example, where we can show up and say, here's my challenge. You know, I've just run into my best friend from high school. He's telling me he's scheduled for bypass surgery in 3 weeks. I really would like to figure out a way to inspire him to take a look and be curious. And so here we are in a mastermind meeting, and I have the opportunity to have professionals as well as other consumers experience with these kinds of issues. Give me suggestions on how I might be able to approach my best friend from high school, to be able to inspire him to have hope that he's not really, doesn't have to stay on this path of more procedures and more surgeries and less health and less energy and less vitality and more medications and a shorter suffering lifestyle.
Well, you know, about the medications, you and I are at an age that most people are on a lot of medications, and I take no medications at all. It was just about a year ago today. I was at a Juneteenth event, and I had a freak accident and I broke my wrist. And when I had to go through the whole process of talking to the surgeons, talking to the physician assistants, whomever I was talking to, they all said, well, what medications are you on? I said, none. And they're like, you're on none? I said, no. And they're like, well, that's unusual. And I said, actually, it's not unusual, other than the fact that we've normalized being sick. And so with a plant-based diet, you don't have to be sick. You don't have to be on a lot of medications. But one of the things I want to talk about with the conference and the certification is we've got Dr. Marla Friedman, who is off the charts amazing. I mean, this is like my new best friend. I adore her. And then, but I have a conflict because Dr. Angela Crawford too is like my new best friend. And I just am so excited about being in the same room with all these amazing people who their whole mission is to help people really understand great communication skills. And even when we think we're a good communicator, we may realize once we go through the certification, there are ways that we can frame our conversations where people are more readily able to embrace what we're saying. But during the conference, we also are going to be showcasing our sponsors. We couldn't do what we're doing without our sponsors, and there's so many that when you go to weDIDitSummit.com, that's weDIDitSummit.com, scroll through the page, read the information, and take a look at who our sponsors are. We have VDOG, which Linda is the co-founder of VDOG. It's a vegan dog food company, and I've had people say, "Oh, you can't feed your dog vegan food." And every person I've talked to who has their dog on that particular brand says their dogs some senior dogs have reversed their aging process to be like puppies again. And each dog is individual, obviously, but I saw a statistic recently where 75% of domestic dogs in the U.S. are overweight and obese. 75%. That kind of matches the statistics for people, and yet dogs that are on VDog, they're not. So Linda's one of our speakers. She's one of our sponsors. We also have Cleveland Vegan Society is one of our sponsors. Cleveland Vegan, which is a cafe and bakery, they're one of our local sponsors, and their logo is on our site. The Vegan Publisher is one of our sponsors, and an amazing sponsor, National Health Association. All of these people, they get what our mission is, and they want to be a part of it, and they want to support us. And recently, we just had Unchained TV, which is Jane Velez Mitchell, Jane Unchained. You'll recognize her from that. Now they are Unchained TV. They've got a great app. I recommend you go to the App Store and download it. But all these people are supporting our vision. Coach Rubin is another one. And there's so many that I encourage you, go to the page and take a look at who our sponsors are. But one of the things that we're going to do at lunchtime for people locally, and if you're in the local market, please come see the vegans in your market. We're actually going to have the speakers available to do networking, to have conversations. We'll be sitting at different tables, and we have a beautiful buffet set up, and lunch is on your own. You can decide to stay with the speakers, and hopefully we've connected enough with you that you'll want to have lunch with us. But Peter, what else can people expect from the conference?
Oh goodness, you've covered so much. Well, absolutely, the interpersonal connection in the live, and certainly virtually. The big thing is the certification. We have Dr. Sally Lipsky, whose doctorate is in education, and she has put together a certification program. So we have a wonderful workbook that she put together, and she'll take us through the workbook to do exercises in interpersonal communications. And of course, that's all based on Dr. Angela Crawford, who's been a psychologist, a practicing psychologist for several decades now. And she's everybody's vegan, of course, and she has put together the ebook, which is our gift to people who fill out the one question survey, and that's kind of the tip of the iceberg for everything we're doing. So what we're doing is we're looking to, one of the pillar number one is about better communication skills, so we don't push people away. Instead, we look for the opportunities to plant the seeds. So Dr. Crawford put together the 7 best habits, and Dr. Lipsky then put together the workbook for us. So we have a 2.5-hour workshop going through various exercises and practices, just so that we can see what the different components are of better listening, of meeting people where they are, of planting the seeds, looking for the cracks to plant the seeds. So that's a really big part of it. So it's our launch event, and it's like just the beginning, where it's so filled with value and information and learning, and it's just the beginning. So we're launching into the community. This is so much more of this to come, and so to feature leaders in communications and leadership, and of course leaders with the content, leaders in the health and nutrition field, leaders in the vegan, animal justice and compassion fields, as well as leaders in the environmental fields. So this is the starting point, and it's the invitation. It's the first step into the community, first step into everything we're going to do. Because make no mistake about it, what we're doing here is we're launching a whole new approach to growing the plant-based and vegan communities. Because for me, there's so much room to grow it. The vision, our mission is for a happy, healthy vegan world, and we are so far from it, and we are so pleased and so thrilled to come at it from a radically different new approach than what's been done before. So join us and be part of the launch of this wonderful new effort that so many people are excited about. And I need to add, Kathleen, that what I have found, and this has been organic, that's just so amazing, is that just before we're launching and as we're talking to people, we have been invited to do this certification training all over the world. Everywhere from London to New Zealand to Sacramento. This is going to be global. So definitely join us and be here for the launch on this whole new approach to get ourselves to be better communicators, so that we can stop the frustration of getting pushed away by everybody, so we can fulfill our really deep desire to serve, because we are all such compassionate people, and that's what brings us to be plant-based. We're compassionate for our health, we're compassionate for our families, we're compassionate for the animals, for the planet, and we are so frustrated when we get pushed away, when all we're trying to do is instill some hope and curiosity in people we care about.
I love that. And, it's true. We have been invited to come around the world with this message. And so, Peter, it's a good thing you and I get along so great, because we're going to be doing a lot of traveling together and just, meeting some amazing people. And actually within local markets, we're looking at the Sacramento market, we're looking at Los Angeles, we're looking at Portland, we're looking at New York, we're looking at Atlanta, definitely Cleveland. And then across the pond, we're looking at the UK, we're looking at definitely New Zealand, Australia. I mean, it's just amazing how quickly this is growing. And what that tells me is our time has come. Our time as a community has arrived, because one of our sponsors is also Chef AJ. Everybody knows who Chef AJ is. And she was like, yes, definitely, I would love to be a sponsor. And so this indicates that right now people are ready for that unity, because there's been so much divisiveness in all different communities. Now, I'm not talking the vegan community, I'm just talking the world at large, that people are like, yes, let's create community, let's heal the world, let's do it one person at a time. And one of the things the certification will allow for is when you get pushback from your own family. I was sharing on a live stream yesterday that when I made the decision, I do most of the grocery shopping because I want to make sure I get my foods. And when I made the decision that I would not buy meat or dairy anymore, there was pushback. There was like, oh, you're going a little too far with this. It's like, no, let me explain why. And at first I wasn't that calm. It was like, no, I'm just not going to do it. Well, I'm hoping to get new skill sets and improve skill sets through this certification, that as a communicator myself, that's what I do. I am a content creator, I'm a communicator, but I know, I'm smart enough to know that I never know everything. And so even as an advanced communicator in my business, the certification is going to help me. For somebody who's new to this lifestyle, you might go to a gathering where, you're afraid to tell people that you're vegan because you might get judged. And you're going to learn some great skill sets that will help you when you go to family gatherings. What happens at Thanksgiving? What happens at Christmas? What happens at other holidays that in different religions, that you want to be able to communicate without judging and without being judged. And that's exactly what you're going to get from the certification. Another thing to do with visibility that you're going to get is through the certification, you're going to get a template for a media release that we're going to give you a list of media outlets within the vegan and plant-based community that you can send your media release to. So we'll provide the media release, we'll provide the list. It's up to you to send it out. You're also going to get a certificate of completion that you can frame and hang up in your office. And you're going to get an amazing, amazing seal. We're not doing the reveal yet. That's going to be done at the event. And so nobody on our team is going to be posting this anywhere, because it's going to be revealed at the event, and you're going to receive a frame that you can put on your social media profile pictures that indicate that you have been certified. So we're really doing all we can to support your efforts, and we invite you to support our efforts, because this is a community-wide endeavor. And for $47, you can join us. Just go to weDIDitSummit.com, weDIDitSummit.com. Join us virtually or join us in person. We would love to have you join us in Cleveland. Let us know where you saw us that inspired you to join in. And Peter, in closing, what are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, definitely come and join us. And this is such an amazing value, Kathleen. I'd like to mention that, the certification itself is really probably worth a couple $100, and being a member of this valuable community, having access to all these professionals is worth a lot. So $47 is just a fraction of the cost. So it's such a huge value. It's time really well invested. And I'd like to instill hope in you. I mean, there is hope to be a much better ambassador. There's hope that we don't have to be pushed away by everybody we care about. There's hope that we can actually fulfill a really deep desire and drive to serve and contribute to people we care about.
Okay,
so join us.
Okay, Peter, thank you so much. I just so appreciate all you're doing. I am so amazed with the things you've been able to manifest and the conversations we've had, and would love to meet everybody in person in Cleveland and virtually, definitely, and in the other locations. Be watching for that. This is Kathleen Gage with weDIDitSummit.com. That's weDIDitSummit.com. We'll see you at the event.
I look forward to it. Bye.